Hello and welcome everybody to the Smite North American Regional Championships Day 2. I'm hi-rez Gabe. I'm here once again with hi-rez Kelly, and we are coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia at the Cobb Energy Center. There are only 4 teams left to compete this weekend, and only 2 of those teams can actually advance to the Smite World Championships in January to compete for the $1.4+ million prize pool.
That's right. Unlike the European Regional, the 5th and 6th seeded team have been kicked out in day 1, and now only the top 4 remain. And who knows what we're going to see in the finals, guys? Maybe Cog Red and Cog Prime are going to be joining their sister team Aquila in the World Championships, or it could be Team Dignitas and Complexity. Either way, it is going to be an exciting game today. Are you guys ready? All right, well, let's go to a quick break to see what these teams are fighting for in the World Championships.
We now have the top 6 teams from the Smite Pro League and Wildcards, but the next step is the Regional Championships. These top 6 teams will be competing for not only $50,000, but also a spot at the Smite World Championship.
All 6 teams have a chance to take this one. We're going to be working with ESL again. I'm going to get to cast alongside Hindu Man, who I've never met in real life. I'm really excited about that. But 6 teams fight out for only 2 spots. It's going to be killer.
2 of the top teams from there are going to go to Worlds, and it's really exciting. It's a great experience for all the teams. It's going to be held here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be in the same venue, Cobb Energy Center.
It's going to be awesome and hype. I'm really excited to see it. And over in the World Championships, we're actually going to be taking the main stage at the Cobb Energy Center.
At the Smite launch tournament, it held 1,000 people. It was a nice venue. This place, the Cobb Energy Center, is ridiculous.
And this place is huge, all right? We have 8 teams coming in from 5 different regions playing for this huge prize pool of $1.2 million and counting.
The prize difference between 1st and 2nd place at these types of events is pretty massive. And to see the victory of 1st is something that you'll never forget.
The other events that we've really only had North America versus EU. This is the first time that we're going to be getting other regions in there. We're going to have 2 teams from China, 1 team from Brazil, and 1 team from Latin America.
Everyone, when they come and show up to see it, they're going to be blown away how nice it is. Literally, hi-rez is pulling out all the stops.
I'm looking forward to see and meet all the players again and just see them perform, see top-level Smite, firsthand.
These teams are the best in the world, but we have to find out who exactly is the best. So this is the place to be to watch that.
It's just, this is what we've worked so hard for.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Smite North American Regional Championships. My name is Tom F. Banninger, joined here by hi-rez Bart and Drybear. How you guys doing this morning?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we just saw a look at everything coming together with the World Championships. Let's talk a little bit about the path to get there. Yesterday was day 1 of the Regional Championships, 2-day set. Let's talk about the games that we saw yesterday. Crowd's excited. How excited are you?
Really excited. And then being day 2, right? The teams that are coming to this are thinking, this is great. This is a great opportunity for everyone. But let's look a little bit at yesterday. We saw Rambozos come out of the Challenger Cup.
Right.
Fat Chunks Assemble went down into the wild card, came back into the regional championship here. They played very well today.
Yeah, the Fat Chunks game versus Dignitas was our first set yesterday. It just looked like a little bit of failure to start, honestly, from the Chunks. Just couldn't really seem to get the momentum together. And, kind of in the pre-show time when all the commentators were talking, there was a lot of, people seemed to think that the Chunks Dig game was going to be tighter than the Rambozos Snipe game.
Right.
Or, I'm sorry, Complexity. But, looking at it, you're looking at a team with no LAN experience going into a team with all of the LAN experience in Smite. And I can see how that one just got away from the Chunks. So they showed moments where they looked like they could probably take down Dignitas, but it never really came together in a way that allowed them to build a big enough advantage to go through those snowball drafts that Dignitas had. So they do fall 0-2 to the boys from Dignitas.
Yeah, I think it was a tough round for them, right? We saw a 0-2 for them, and I think Fat Chunks coming out of the SPL had a lot of experience. They were thinking, we can definitely take down Dignitas. We've done it before.
Yeah, they have.
The experience coming out of the SPL, and going into that series, it seemed like it's just very, very close in the early stage, but it was the late game carry, and Dignitas knew that. I mean, these teams know each other. Dignitas was thinking, okay, we played this team before. We know they fall apart late game. Let's play it safe. Let's play it intelligent, make it to the late game, and we feel like we can wrap it up.
I mean, we saw that adjustment in the second game. They went very Fat Chunks oriented in the first game with Auror playing that Fenrir, sort of the standard, what we expect. But in the second game, they went ahead and they played a more traditional comp with Bacchus in the support role, which was a deviation from what they're used to. I liked the look of them better in the first game, but they were stronger than
It
a lot
did
of
really
people
well. I mean,
expected.
Bacchus went, I think, 6-1 was Aurora's slash at the end of that game, which, I mean, not really where you want your farm to go, but still kind of indicates that it works. I'm looking more at game one, where you see, kind of, we all agreed that their key to success was going to be late game versus dig, getting through that dig early game, but they drafted Neath into that lineup. The game ended up going 43 minutes, basically. Like, they got to that hyper late game stage they were looking for, but still lost because they didn't really draft their hunter into that position. Maybe they didn't really think that that was their strength. I mean, it looks like they picked more early game with the Fenrir and the Neath to kind of compensate in the mid.
I think they were waiting for Cyclone Spin.
Okay.
This is not really the one that team really leads on, which I always think is interesting. We look at the North American teams that we're going to see today. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Zapman on Team Dignitas and Barracuda on.
Yes.
It's a very hunter-oriented region. Fat Chunks go the opposite. They lean on their solo laner, almost like Europe. So that they went Cyclone Spin on the Vulcan. So that's really where
And it was
wanted.
amazing.
And it worked out fantastic.
Cyclone Spin did great yesterday. Cyclone Spin and Aurora both did really well in the outside lanes.
His first game, he played that Vulcan. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was off on that Vulcan. Then going into game two, they gave the Vulcan to Herwind. And they swapped out the Sun Wukong to Cyclone Spin. That was a really weird swap up for them going into the moment. They lost their momentum, I think.
Yeah, we talked to the team a little bit about that. And from the analyst desk, right, it was very clearly a spot to pick Vamana in. Unbanned, final pick, going into a god, going into Arachne that you would have just destroyed. Fits the same role as Sun Wukong, need a physical damage or need something they can frontline. Just purely just preference was Sun Wukong. That's what the player had in mind. But I think a Vamana pick there may have let them edge that game out.
Well, the big difference, right, is Sun Wukong's more ability-based until the very late game of the game, where Vamana can hard carry.
Sun Wukong's a laner.
Right?
He's a laner.
Right, yeah. Right. So the ability clear, you can actually put some influence on the fight and actually keep himself alive, whereas Vamana, he's looking for that hard carry, focus that target and kill them, where Sun Wukong couldn't fill that role.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a similar play style from the Rambozos on the other side, leaning away from their hunter and more towards the outside lanes and even towards the jungle specifically. We talked a lot about Grishank going into that matchup. So Rambozos versus Complexity. A lot of people thought this one was going to be very close, and it really was.
Yeah.
Complexity just wound up taking it. You guys casted it. You guys watched it. Really, what took Complexity over the edge to overcome that?
Honestly, what I really liked about that set is Complexity learned very, very quickly. In the first match, we saw Rambozos take off very, very quickly. Aduro was able to rotate quickly. I mean, he was from the mid lane to the long lane to the solo lane so fast that almost Complexity couldn't react to it. But once they saw that, they realized, okay, let's ignore the solo lane, like you were mentioning. Let's get off of that and go to the mid lane, focus Aduro, and then he started going 1-5 with Isis, be away from the fight. Grishank got stopped in the jungle. They stole his jungle buff so many times they couldn't keep up with the momentum, and that was it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think there was Weekend was way outperforming Grishank after about 10 minutes in those games. A little bit similar to kind of like what we saw from like Raffer almost, like, really strong. Grishank's Thor looked really good for about the first 12 minutes and started to fall off, but that happens. Thor's a hard character to keep the momentum going through the mid game. I looked at that game and I saw basically a team that in Rambozos that had a lot of playmakers and did a little bit better at land because of it than I think the Chunks did. I think the Chunks, while winning against their Rambozos online, even beating Dignitas online a couple times, I think that with the players that they had, Aduro, especially Aduro, I think, who played with Dignitas for a long time, understands shot calling, understands how kind of making big plays works, was able to bring a little bit more to the land, bring some of that, just momentum and the will to succeed, and they did a little bit better. I think a lot of times that's what land's about, right? Like, we see that out of SK Gaming in Europe pretty much exclusively. You just see, it's all heart that carries them through those games. So I think that's a little bit what you saw out of the Rambozos as well yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, talking to the teams after the matchups yesterday, the guys were extremely just mature about it, understood what they had to do, and a lot of them were just looking forward to the next event, the next season. There was a lot of talk about just let's clean it up. We made this mistake, and it almost, if you were out of the loop, you thought they were playing today because they just said, okay, Aurora sat his team down and like, this is what went wrong. We got to fix that, and it was just back to the chopping block, and that's one of the most respectable things I thought I really saw out of these folks. They really just want to look towards the next step and are just keep grinding. So we're taking a look at the teams today. Sort of same mentality you talked about the teams. The two cognitive teams had buys, so they didn't play yesterday. But looking at Dignitas, as we said, and we're going to see Complexity here as well. We'll see what's going on. We're going to cut to a break. We'll see what happened in Europe, and after that, we'll give our personal predictions for today's games. welcome back. Glad we could see what happened yesterday over at day one of the North American Regional Championships. I'm here still with Bart and Rory, taking a look at what we're going to see today. We mentioned we have 2 great matches, best of 5 this time around, because these are the big matches. These are the ones that matter. The winners of these next 2 sets will go to Worlds and fight for over $1.4 million. We're going to take a look at the brackets and see what matches we're going to see today.
Yeah, on the top side here, you'll see it's our first game of the day, Cognitive Red versus Team Dignitas. We'll get to kind of how we think that one's going to go in a second as you look at the bottom side as well. Complexity winning out over the Rambozos are going to go on to face Prime. Your commentators for game number 1 are going to be DM Brandon and Scott Gandhi. Game 2 is going to be me and the man on the desk, Mr. Dry Bear. So a couple of big sets today, Tom. You know, what do you think is kind of the key to success here? And do you think we're going to see, obviously we're not going to get what we had in Europe where the underdogs are winning it out,
right,
but are we going to see the 3rd and 4th seeds pick up wins in the second round?
I mean, this one's tough. I had called a lot about the European. I felt very confident in my calls. This time around, if you notice, I didn't put up a video this time around. These ones are really tight. Dignitas is up first against Cog Red. The teams have made their way onto the stage. The guys are getting ready. So I mean, I think I'm going to go last. I'm going to put Dry Bear on the spot. Taking a look, your personal prediction for Team Dignitas versus Cognitive Red.
I think it's actually really hard to say, right? Because coming out of the SPL, we saw Cognitive Red on top the whole time. You analyze what happened with the Team Dignitas. They had a rocky start, a nice middle, and a rocky end. They kind of had that nice little sandwich there for the SPL. And so looking at the preparation, something we saw in Europe, like you were saying, it's hard to predict. But at this point, with 5th and 6th seed out, it's a little bit easier, but it puts it much closer. So you look at this and say, okay, who prepared? Because we saw in Europe less preparation than we saw here. Dignitas was practicing all night. Cognitive Red may not have been practicing as much, but they're more of a mental team. So they're looking to come in looking strong, very healthy, very happy, going to the game and talking about strong. So at this point, I think it's really hard to say, but I think I got my money on Dignitas.
Yeah, on my end, this just feels too much like the launch tournament in North America. We see Dignitas talking big game, practicing a lot, keeping their heads in it. We see Cognitive Red staying quiet, but focused. It's got to be Cognitive Red, right? There's nothing to me that indicates that this is going to go any other way, but the boys in white are going to come back, sit down at the table, and they're going to win the North American land just like they did, 4 or 5 months ago.
Right.
In a very similar situation. This time, though, with the number 1 seed instead of that number 4 seed, their path's a bit easier. They just can't overlook Dignitas, right? But I don't think anyone does that. They've been such a giant in the North American scene for so long that, if anything, I don't think they're ever going to be the trap game that they're looking forward to the finals and saying, we just got to beat Dignitas to get there. So, yeah, I got the Red boys in probably 3-1 over Dignitas.
All right, so we got 3-1 Cog Red coming out of Bart. And Dry Bear said...
I say 3-1 as well.
Dry Bear says 3-1 Cognitive Red as well.
3-1 Dignitas.
3-1 for Dig.
All right. I guess I'm the tiebreaker here. I'm going to have to go with the old Dignitas boys. I really and truly think that Dignitas has what it takes, because here's the thing, you referenced the kickoff land. The $50,000 kickoff land that we had to start the SPL. Cognitive Red came out and just surprised everybody. And I think that was a large part of why they did it. I don't want to throw shots, but maybe some of the teams underprepared going in, seeing the Cog Red. They took that momentum and they won the SPL. They did fantastic. You're taking a look at Dignitas this time around. I think they're prepared. I think they're ready. And not for nothing, there's a lot of ego on the side of Team Dignitas.
But how many games did Dignitas beat Cog Red in this season?
Where was the season held?
Oh, well, online.
Online.
But half of their wins against that team are due to DQ.
Hold on. I think the really big defining factor here is Lassus. And we know that most of the time you see if Lassus goes under, that's a tough game for his team. Did you see Lassus yesterday?
Yeah, Lassus looked that 13-3-7 slash, but actually, I'm going to disagree with you there. I think that the key here is Gnaw. Gnaw's play has looked excellent so far in the land. That, to me, is the most improved on Dignitas by a huge margin. Daredekar and Zapman seem to be a little bit tighter than we've seen them in the past as well, but it's Gnaw playing aggressive mages successfully that opens up a lot more options for Team Dignitas. He's not siloed into that kind of support Giannis or kind of mid-lane, mid-game Ra.
It's sort of a swap exactly like we saw from SK Gaming's Maniac. Plays a lot of healers in that solo lane, came to land, played Bakasora, and was aggressive and won his lane because of it. That's what we're seeing out of Gnaw. Full cooldown reduction was the expectation. Now he's a powerful mid-mage. I think that's going to be one of the points, and as I said before, there's a lot of ego on Team Dignitas. I don't think they want to lose again at land, Bart, so I think they're going to take this one 3-2. I think they're going to put up a big fight, and the last game, I think game 5, will be a nail-biter. So I do have Dignitas winning this one, but it's going to be close, and they're going to have to fight for it.
5 matches on this one, huh?
Without a doubt.
Oh, wow. Well, speaking of other teams, we got another lineup at the bottom of the bracket there. Complexity and Cognitive Prime. Now, Cognitive Prime, just for lack of a better word, is primed for this. I mean, they're looking really good, and they have been practicing all week, and they're looking hot, right? So you look at Complexity coming off the win of Rambozo's yesterday. They look great as well, but I think the way Cog Prime is going right now, I got my money on Cog Prime.
I mean, Cog Prime definitely looks very, very, very good. Complexity as a team, though, Snipe has grown so much with the inclusion of Incontinentia on that team. We've seen that team go from, I mean, Snipe was never an amateur team, to really be honest with you. They were present at the launch tournament, but we've seen this team grow incredible bounds, Bart.
Yeah, they've, the former kind of Snipe team now, Complexity. Yeah, they lost Shing, they lost their captain.
Right.
They kind of shored that gap up. They took Weekend, a player that was relatively unknown, brought him into the front line, kind of, I think, really helped him grow, like really kind of accepted what his god pool was, let him thrive with it, and then helped expand that into more and more gods. But like Weekend was mostly kind of a nemesis player, it seemed like in the early stages, maybe little Hun bots here and there, but has kind of come in to fill that role out. Although we still don't see a lot of like hyper-traditional gods out of him. Like Thor is not a priority pick, it feels like, for Complexity. So they have maybe a little bit more of an awkward banning phase, especially against Prime, that has arguably the best Thor player in the world in Andenster.
Right.
So that's going to be an interesting draft phase. Now, traditionally, Andenster also struggles on land, kind of keeping the focus and keeping his kind of patented playstyle going and maintaining their I guess, pace of the game that they want to play. That's generally what he dictates. You see him playing almost exclusively teamfight controlling junglers. So to me, this one is, can Cognitive Prime play their game versus the Complexity guys? Can they have to out-execute, I feel like. Cognitive Prime, I feel like, has the advantage just on paper overall.
Well, I think Cog Prime, of course, they have a history of losing to Complexity. I mean, Complexity has a strong lineup against them. So looking at that and looking at yesterday, right, Rambozo's, we talked about yesterday how it was like an early game thing for Complexity. So obviously Rambozo's had a tough time getting off the ground. We saw, the jungler fall behind, Grishake not there. Same thing for the Chunks, right? Their late game wasn't there. We're not going to see that in this matchup. This is very much, you can get the big win in the middle of the game, and there's no weak point there. So I look at the long lane, right? That's going to be the late game stage where we saw yesterday, the Allied Incon had trouble in the long lane, especially against Paradox. Paradox doing very, very well yesterday. But you look at Barracuda, he doesn't look too weak.
Yeah, unlikely that Freya into Apollo matchup that we saw Allied eke out over Paradox yesterday will go the same way up against Barracuda. Overall here, I think that the answer to this game is going to be the duo lane. I think look for Sentry Wards on the left side of the map to dictate a lot of the early pace of the game. Look for Gold Furies pre-5 minutes out of these teams. I think, especially considering how much Weekend threatens or favors Arachne, that got us excellent at early objective steals. I think it's going to really be a big indicator of success.
Yeah, Weekend plays very much a lot of guys that really want to control spaces, and that's what Complexity does by extension because of what their jungler does. So I think this is going to be very exciting for Complexity. They're representing a new flag. The first time this team has been sponsored. It's been a long storied history of this team. We mentioned the swap of captains. They've really come into themselves, and the chance to fly the Complexity flag for the first time at LAN is a huge deal for these guys. I know the 5 of them are very, very excited to be here. So this is going to be a series run on emotion for them, and Cog Prime will probably just stay the same stoic faces that we're used to seeing. So real quick, guys, down the line, your personal predictions for the bottom matchup of Team Complexity versus Cognitive Prime.
I have Stealth beating out Jerby in the mid lane, finding wins on the back of pressure through the mid side and left side of the map. Cognitive Prime beats Complexity. I think this game goes 3-2. To Prime.
I'm going to about the same line there. I think that definitely that late game, we're going to see a kind of a breakdown in the long lane. I think we're going to see a lot of early game pressure, especially coming out from Andenster, who's looking very good today. I'm going to give it a 3-2 as well on Prime.
All right, so we've got a 3-2 on Prime from Bart, a 3-2 on Prime from Drybear himself, and I'm going to have to go 3-1 on Prime. Team's looking very powerful, but Complexity might be able to eke out a win. So we'll take a look right there. But here, let's talk to Zelia real quick over in Europe.
Sports in the Flash once again here at ESL Studios in Cologne, Germany. I'm with another Fnatic member. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Zaelia. I'm the solo laner for Fnatic.
All right, cool. So we're going to ask him as many questions as possible in a matter of 60 seconds. He has to answer them as fast as possible. It's up to you if you're ready to do this.
Yeah, all right, let's go.
All right, cool. So when I ask the first question, that's when the timer starts, which is going to be, who is your favorite Smite streamer?
Me.
Who's your favorite Smite god?
Smite god Fauna.
Who's the best or hottest god?
Aphrodite.
Peanut butter or jelly?
Jelly.
Who do you hope to get in Assault?
Mercury.
Who's the strongest team in North America?
Fat Junks.
How many gods are in Smite right now?
12.
What's an adequate amount of elo?
And 0.
What state did I grow up in?
Georgia.
How old am I?
50.
How many skins are in the game?
200.
Who was Mortality before they got sponsored?
I don't know.
Who came out first, Zeus or Thor?
Thor.
What god would you like to see in Smite?
Medusa.
What?
It's not gods, but you know.
How many professional LAN events have there been for Smite?
10.
What's the name of Apollo's second skill?
Cool.
What's your favorite guardian?
Sylvanas.
Do you prefer dry bear, bald, or with hair?
Bald.
Who designed Rom?
Me.
Who would you cosplay as a god?
Aphrodite.
Who is Mortality's mid laner?
Thingy.
What game did you play when you grew up?
Team Fortress.
All right, that's the end. So that was pretty quick. You zoomed through it. Team Fortress 2, that was one of my baby games too. That's actually one of the first games I played competitively. Good game.
I played Div 6.
Nice. That's actually a solid team.
Div 6.
I think it's Div 6. Okay, never mind. All right, so he's going to walk away. We're going to be back with more esports in the Flash. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Expert Desk. Today, I am joined by Kret. Kret, we got an exciting game, too, right now. It is going to be Team Dignitas versus Cognitive Red. Now, we're going to go over Cog Red first. Give me a rundown of what happened to them in the SPL.
Well, Cognitive Red, as we all know, was a team that came into the kickoff LAN as the dark horse, the underdog, the 4th seed, and I mean 4th. And then they won. And then they just kind of kept winning, 17-3 being their final record, only dropping games to Dignitas and Cognitive Prime. But unfortunately for the boys of Red, both Dig and Prime are here in the semifinals, so they might have to contend with both of those teams. And it will be a tough fight.
All right, well, let's take a quick look at Cog Red's roster.
Cognitive Red. Nivios. Dagars. The Boosh. Eonic. Snoopy.
And that was Cog Red's roster. Now we're going to be talking about Team Dignitas, one of the only teams besides Cog Prime to take a game off of Cog Red during the SPL. How do you think this matchup works for them?
It's going to be an interesting matchup, and I think Dignitas needs to go back to the core of their team. Zapman and Lasses have been professional players in Smite since the dawn of time, since forever. They're the core of this team, and with the addition of Na and Dare to Care and Shing, they've really created a great team culture to support that. It's all about Lasses and Zapman and how the rest of the team can help them do their jobs.
All right, well, let's take another look at Team Dignitas' roster.
Team Dignitas. Shing. Lasses. Nah. Dare to Care. Zapman.
And that was Team Dignitas' roster. Kret, I don't know about you, but I think this is going to be an exciting best of 5. And guys, we're going to go to the casters now for set 1, game 1 of Team Dignitas versus Cog Red.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the North American Regionals. Gandhi joined by DM. DM, it's been so long since we've casted together.
I haven't seen you in forever.
You've been traveling too much.
It's hard.
I know, it really is. Well,
speaking of things that are difficult, today One team right now will not have a good morning.
Yeah, so in case you guys are just tuning in, this is a best-of-5 single elimination. So the first team with 3 wins will secure themselves not only the win, but also a seat at the World Championship for a prize pool that continues to grow.
Right, we're at $1.43 million last time I checked, and as we get into picks and bans, I'm sure it's increasing.
Yeah, and so this matchup obviously is going to be Complexity versus Dignitas, as we've already been walked through it, but just really real quick, DM, this match is 2 juggernauts facing off against one another.
Red came into this as the first seed, so they're going to have first pick or second pick opportunity. They've chosen second pick, and strangely, a ban of Thor has come out from Dignitas.
It's no real shocker here. I mean,
I
Thor,
can't believe it.
I mean, Garz has just been an absolute beast on this character the entire time. He is an amazing with Thor, and they're just like, you know what, let's get the comfort out of there.
So Apollo gets locked in right off the bat, giving that one to Zatman.
Which is good. Now, this is exactly what they wanted. I talked to them all last night, and they were like, look, we believe that as long as Snoopy doesn't have Apollo, we are fine in this matchup. So I think they're kind of going with the comfort.
All right, so Sylvanas gets locked in with Vulcan for Red. Vulcan, a character that has seen a major resurgence into competitive play over, I'd say, the last 5 or so weeks. Before that, considered not very good. I think a lot of that is due to Pretty Prime from Aquila.
I would say so.
But now everyone is playing this god.
Well, he's like a better Habois, right? I mean, like, his meatball's insane.
So much damage.
And the best thing about Vulcan is that so many different players have so many different techniques with leveling him.
Right.
It's like either the 1 or the 2 or the 3. I personally like the turret.
You like the turret, so you
love
do the
turret.
NOS strategy.
Oh, I love the NOS strategy.
Wow.
It's fantastic, but the scary thing here is we're going to see that is going to be a hover over Osiris and locked in, and we haven't seen a lot of him at all, DM.
No, we saw Game Hunter didn't have a lot of success with him. I talked to my man Devios a little bit. He said, you know, I'm looking at Osiris today. I think I'm going to try him early. I don't think that they even knew that this was going to come up. So they have Vulcan, Sylvanas, Osiris. So Vulcan puts up a lot of damage. Osiris kind of has a timer to him. In the beginning of the game, doesn't have a lot going for him, but late game, he's just like a tankier, less damaged version of Kali.
Oh, for sure. And I think this might be a Sylvanas Vulcan lane. We all know that Snoopy loves to play Vulcan at the Hunter role, so it might actually happen.
Is that a ban of Hercules? Where would he even go? I don't understand.
I think that might have been anticipating maybe a Hercules jungle, which
Odin.
I think we've seen once, but this is what I was getting ready to ask. If we are going to see the Odin, now with an Osiris in there, it's like, is it worth it since he has the escape? But it's really to kind of focus on the Vulcan.
You know, the Vulcan's really strong. I mean, the meatball does a lot of damage, combo into backfire, but it's the ult that really changes things. When the character first got relaunched with the Earthshaker, we didn't see a lot of potential because the ult was too hard to hit. As players start to be just a little bit more predictive of where their opponents are going, it's been much stronger, but Loki gets locked in.
Oh my goodness.
That's going to be Shing. That's going to be Shing.
Okay, so I mean, we might see maybe yeah, that's Shing with Loki is a little bit interesting, right? And that's going to be a Kali locked in on the other side, and that's scary. Garz, this is what we've all been wondering, right? Garz for like the final 7 games of the SPL was just kind of like, oh yeah, I got Thor, guys. I got Thor, guys.
For some reason, they're not banning this. I'll pick it again.
Yeah. So like, what was his god pool? Apparently, Kali's in there.
Right, so we're going to see Osiris going to the solo lane with Kali in the jungle. That's a lot of physical damage. Yeah. A lot of attack speed.
And, you know, also, Kali's also a brilliant pick as well to get out of Odin.
See, what I'm looking at, though, is if Odin builds into a Witchblade here, it's really going to shut down a lot of their combined damage.
Yeah, that's probably the most logical option. And plus, you know, the Odin kind of synergizing with the Loki, kind of trapping him in there, and then he's able to get onto Vulcan. A lot of big plays coming out of Shing here. And it's funny because, like, the rule of Dignitas right now is Shing, don't feed.
Yeah. We were doing mock interviews to get some media stuff done, and he's like, so, you know, tell us more about your style, Shing. And he's just like, I just hope I don't feed. And the guy's like, what does feed me? He goes, oh, I die a lot. I make my team lose.
Yeah. And yesterday it was like perfect. They were all like congratulating him. They were like, oh, dude, you went like 2 and 2. We're good. This is exactly what we want out of you. But really all eyes here, I believe, on the Captain Lassus as we go ahead and get ready to hop into this game. I think Bastet, super early game focused. Obviously, she has one of the strongest levels 5 to like really 15.
Yeah.
He has to get involved immediately.
You know, I really enjoy the way that Lassus has grown since he's been here at the LAN. You know, we watched the final weeks of the SPL, and he didn't seem as aggressive. His head didn't seem in the game. Since he has got here, I was a little worried that he was going to, you know, maybe not take it as seriously as I thought he would, but the dude's been grinding. You saw him yesterday. He was absolutely on fire, diving towers against 4 people, killing 2 and baiting 2 ultimates out of it, and then living.
Yeah, and it seems since we're here to tell stories, Dare to Care. An Army reservist coming in hot. He has seen so much success, and realistically, Dare to Care is probably one of the top communicators in this game. So I have a lot of eyes on him. Look for the hand of gods. He has to be hot with them.
But they're going up against the first seed. This is Cognitive Red, 17-3 out of the SPL, and they got some really prime picks here, guys. Give it up for Cog.
Yep, and their opponents coming out of the order side. It is fan favorite Team Dignitas. Make some noise for Dig. Already here, starting to see a little bit of a grouping coming out.
Oh, what is this?
And this might be a 5-man mash.
They're just like hanging out in the mid lane.
It's like West Side Story. They come out snapping fingers.
The last time we saw this was EU, but then everyone like stood in a line and waved at each other. That time they were throwing scythes and bullets. It's a much different story.
Now already you're going to see 3 wards go down. You're going to see 1 deep in the blue. You're also going to see 1 at the speed. The 1 at the speed is super important.
I love this because it tells you what they're building. It tells you where they're going to go after it's been done. It shows you their rotation prowess. If the jungler intends to go to the solo lane, there's a lot of information that it gives you. I love that ward. Favorite ward.
Yep. And Osiris actually starting with Death Toll and 4 pots. No hand, no anything, just Death Toll and 4 pots. He wants to sustain. Probably going to look to see maybe a teleport on him to kind of get into back and forth much quicker.
The double. Oh, he's going to go for the hog here. I don't think he has it. He's trying to bait. I think he got it.
I think he got it too.
He definitely got it. Cog Red gets both mid camps to start the game.
That's humongous. Yeah, he definitely got it. 280 XP. Wow, that's a huge play. And
so right there,
telegraphed.
The hog doesn't go off from Bastet because Lassus is thinking, I don't think he's going to walk in. I don't think he's going to do it. And he was just a little bit quicker on the draw. That's a huge win. Going into the lane is the order side. Both Xing and Lassus are level 1.
Yeah, and the other thing too is now I think maybe we've seen Cog Red do a little bit of research on Dignitas because Dignitas, what they love to do is they go red.
We didn't even consider that's Vulcan ADC.
No, I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, did you say
it? Yeah, I said it, girl.
Maybe I blanked out there. Odin actually going to be able to pick up that red buff. First steal of the game, or second steal, rather, going to be going away. Zatman with a beautiful dash just to push Boosh away. Nice steal. Now, what we're going to see in the duo lane is the sustainability of Sylvanas versus the non-stop push of Odin.
Well, they both have great pushes, right? I mean, the auto attacks coming out of Sylvanas are AoE, and they do a lot of damage. So I'm kind of looking at to see how Zatman can do it. We all know Zatman loves to be aggressive.
Oh, speaking of aggressive, Lass is taking a lot of damage there. Guards with an absolutely perfect lash without using the stun. Great play.
Yep, and now Xing's just going to basically sit here. And this is going to be the one that's interesting, right? Xing's going to get a lot of early pressure. Bastet's not going to be good in the laning phase, so we're going to see what's going to happen from that.
You know, I'm looking at the stats on the screen right now. Dagars, 525 gold per minute with a 5.4 KDA.
Look at this. They have the timer here. They know the red was not acquired yet. They figured that, Lassus is probably going to go to speed because that's the next logical option. They're going to be able to get another basically buff.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
That's amazing. You know, they got theirs stolen away. They take it back. And with that, Boosh was even able to rotate in there and take it.
Yeah, that's huge. This is really, really big. I mean, the Boosh, we've seen him only play Agni, twice in the SPL, and the entire time it was kind of like, wow, Boosh, you are amazing.
Hey, look at this. Your Ra got banned. Show us your God pool, Boosh.
Thank God Ra's getting banned, though, right?
Oh, jeez. I'm just so sick of looking at him.
It's just so good. So, as we go ahead and swing over here into the mid lane here, this is going to be a really, really big matchup here for Gnaw. He's got a lot to prove. Throughout the entire SPL, a lot of people were very, very critical on Gnaw, and he said, you know, guys, I'm really not that bad. It's just I need my team.
Oh, he has been amazing this weekend. The first set for Gnaw was incredible.
Yeah. He's always done well, and I love the kind of safe picks in game one, and that's really what we see out of teams who might be a little bit nervous, might be like a Nemesis or a Bastet.
You know, I'm looking over on the duo lane here. There's not been a lot of rotation from Dare to Care. Usually we see him start to rotate out, but as the mid camps start to spawn, we're looking towards Ionic and Dare to Care. Our first real team fight's about to happen. Oh, actually, they're going to rush in.
Yeah, here comes the aggress. He's going to jump in. That's
huge.
A lot of damage. Then there's the counter ultimate. Zatman's going to take to the skies. Is he going to have the damage to take out Vulcan? He's going to barely miss the ult. They're going to turn, dash out, disengage as the Volcanoes. Oh, he's got the pull, though. There's the damage.
He's got to go into the turret.
There, it's going to be one more hit. The bird bomb is going to keep him alive. And he got out with the jump. Garz is going to be there. Garz should be able to secure first blood. There's going to be the first one, DM.
You know, he was in the worst position. There was no way for him to walk through that turret. Zatman didn't have enough damage at that point to even try to burn that turret down. The Mesmerize was brilliant. He almost got the save, but Nimble Strike was still up. Kali finds first blood, and there's the character you don't want to see get kills.
Yeah, the faster Kali can get to chin size, the worse for your team.
Right, of course. I mean, 100%, you do not want to fight Kali with chin size. Oh, Gnaw taking some damage in the mid lane. Boost throwing out a stun. Here comes Ionic. Left camp has been taken. Right camp has been taken by Dignitas. So an even trade there, but Red still has an early lead.
Oh my god, we didn't even think about this. We have never seen Ionic actually on Sylvanas. Now, in case you guys are brand new to Smite, Ionic is probably one of the best individual support players in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the guy plays every support. He's probably the only player using Sobek at a high level anymore.
Yeah, well, why use Sobek when you got Sylvanas?
That's true.
I mean, Sylvanas is just absolutely incredible in the lane.
Garz just didn't pick up the speed buff twice in a row and kept backing, and he wastes like 3 seconds. And now I have like Ajita.
Did you have a little panic attack there?
I'm good now. I'm good.
Yeah, you were getting ready to get uncursed and start screaming at him?
Please just pick up the buff. Oh, Bird Bomb. No, not Bird Bomb. Just a normal jump coming through, which is smart because it's giving Zatman the ability to get the last hits, which in turn gives them more gold overall. And Zatman kind of needs that at this point, though he does have enough to finish up the gauntlets. You see that they have come online. He's going to head back to the base and start working those up.
Yeah, and Xing right now in the bottom 3 of gold per minute. He's getting shoved under towers so much, and that's really kind of...
Well, that's early game Loki.
Divios, yeah.
Well, it's early game Loki. I mean, he doesn't have push. He's level 7 now. 2 more levels. He has guaranteed clear. The Heartseeker's online. He's already swinging like a monster. And speaking of swinging, they're taking some swings at the blue buff, which does get stolen.
They might actually be able to turn around. They actually don't have a ward there all the way deep. Oh, they do. So they do know Osiris is going to be returning to lane, but they're going to completely disengage. Right there, ideally, I think they were looking for the timer on speed, trying to slow down Garz, but unfortunately they were a little bit late.
Garz actually still doing a great job. You look at gold per minute, very far ahead at 434. This is keeping him on top, and which is a really important run. Check out right side, a lot of damage coming out to Xing. Lassus is there as well.
Yep, Lassus does have the follow-up here as he's going to be able to get out, and Divios is just going to be able to stay alive. Runeforge Hammer there, able to mitigate a lot of damage. There's no real follow-up as well. And surprisingly enough, he didn't release the kitties.
Well, you know, it's something to say that, you know, he has a lot of physical mitigation in the kit of Osiris. He has Runeforge Hammer online, and he's versing both a physical jungler and a physical solo, which means most of the ganks are already mitigated, and that's a very smart pickup. And now look at him, just kind of keeping the wave back, splitting it off, making sure he's getting some denial, which is also hurting Xing's Heartseeker.
Yeah, this is really hurting him bad, and you can see him kind of run up there, and Garz, he's going to go for the dive. Xing's in a lot of trouble. Down he goes. That's going to be a 2-0 advantage. On the left side, though, Zatman coming in hot, has Snoopy. The meatball is going to connect. There's going to be a decent amount of damage. In comes Raven Shout. Volcano's there. Can Zatman win it? He is able to do it. Naw's going to get the cleanup, and that is going to put Dignitas on the board.
You know, that's the play, though. You see 2 people rotate right, send people to rotate left. If you're not going to be able to get over there, make sure that you can get some kind of return advantage. Take your team, gank another lane, go for the Gold Fury, you know, find something.
Yeah, and I think if they had a little bit more vision control on the map, we might have seen a Gold Fury there. They had the 4 people there.
Oh, mid lane jumping in there. Naw, not in a great position. Uses his ultimate versus 3. Misses the knockup, misses the stun. Naw will be able to escape off the misplay, and Boosh takes a lot of damage.
Boosh. Clay soldiers, they really hurt, DM. Well, Naw's now just going to go ahead and push. You see the 3-man grouping. The timers are all down. All buffs are gone besides the back Harpy, so we'll probably see Naw kind of split those with Lassus.
I think Naw's still counting his lucky stars there. I mean, he landed into an Agni stun and, of course, the Sylvanas knockup, neither of which actually formed the CC because the CC immunity from Fire Shards was still active, and then turns around. I mean, the 3-man stun was gorgeous.
Yeah, and Zatman does actually have to be careful here. You see Ionic, he's coming by. This could be the pinch. Zatman does have to be worried. Snoopy's going to aggress. Here comes the root. The meatball's going to be there. There's going to be a lot. The Mesmerize is there, though, as well. Misses the root. Great dodge, and Snoopy just now is just going to continue to do damage. But, oh, my God, Boosh is going to be there as well. The Aegis there. The meatball goes up. Zatman trying to stay alive for as long as he can, do an excellent job, but Snoopy will inevitably take him out.
Did you see what what he just did there. He knew he wasn't going to be able to stay alive. He tried to bait away from the damage of Vulcan and Agni to take the death from the dot from Wisps. Trying to give that kill to Sylvanas. Very smart play by Zatman, but didn't quite find it. They found the kill in the end.
God, you're like a cornucopia of knowledge, DM.
I'm just a regular cornucopia. I love gourds.
Hey, good for you. I'm proud of you. Well, Lassus now is going to be able to eat up a lot of this experience here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for him. He's kind of on par here, but Gar's definitely making a bigger impact. He's a full level ahead of Lassus.
I would be very nervous if I was Lassus right now. One good combo, Meatball on the backfire, is going to spell disaster. So the rotation is good. I like that he's leaving this. What are they doing? They're going for it.
Well, he's going to go ahead and throw the kitties out as well.
Boosh knows,
Boosh is going to be here as well. This could spell disaster. They might have to completely disengage. It's going to go ahead and get reset. Kitties are going to chase down the Boosh, and Boosh is going to be like, all right, listen, get out of here.
See, I like that, though. I like, use the cats early game. They get kills, sure, but their objective push is insane. Speaking of objective push.
Yeah, wow. I don't even think they see this coming. Naw's going to be here as well. Clay Soldiers are going to be there as well. Odin Ring, great job. Gars is going to be in the back. Team fight's going to continue there. Zatman's going to be able to get one. Gars is in the middle. Can he be able to get out? That's going to be Sylvanas. Gars able to get one.
Red got the Gold Fury.
And they got the Gold Fury here. They're able to jump in. Ionic, this is disaster for him. Gars is forced all the way out, but Odivios is here, DM.
They still have a lot of push here. Destruction still online. There it goes. They're chasing Naw down. Is that the target? No, it is not.
Yep, and now we're going to see Dare to Care going to be chased by Divios as well. Last is all the way in the back. He has to make up his mind. He's actually going to go for the blue buff here.
He's got this.
Dare is going to die very soon, and no peel at all coming out of the members of Dignitas. But at least, fortunately for Dig, they have stolen the red and the blue.
Right there, Red actually winds up even in the experience mark. They don't gain any experience there, but look at the graph for the gold. Huge swing down, find a few kills, find the Gold Fury. Ionic with the Swift Hog comes out 2,800 deep.
Yep, and Shing was able to rotate there because of the teleport. He's already got level 3, and he's doing a good job.
All right, so we're looking overall, 10 minutes into the game, the Fire Giant spawns, Red has the lead. We're starting to see some core items come online, Colleague into that Balance Blade. It doesn't look like we're seeing a Balance Blade or any type of chin size come onto Divios. It looks like he's going for more of a base build.
Yeah, I think he really likes building it kind of like a pseudo bruiser. And that's really his comfort. He loves to mitigate the damage. Gars is going to be able to take out Shing. Last is in a world of trouble. He's forced out of here. And, dude, Cog Red has complete control of right side jungle.
And, speaking earnestly and honestly, I think that this was unexpected to the casters. You at home, I'm sure, came in, you see they're the #1 seed. Red has not been looking good in scrims.
No, they haven't. It's been really, really bad.
Yeah, they've been very demoralized. They came into this game, I haven't seen a smile on any of their faces except for Divios because he's, like 14 and doesn't know any better.
Yeah, no. He's just, he's like blindly happy, right? He's like, oh, Snickers.
I'm in America again. This is great.
It's not Canada. This is fantastic.
Oh, shout out to Jeff.
Jeff, the global Canadian.
So, big grouping on left side. Check out Lassus trying to snake Snoopy. But look at this. Snoopy's like, hey, wards though. I'm out of here. Nice
Knowledge
rotation.
Is power. That's why you buy wards, kids.
Power is power.
Imagine that was like a slogan for like 5-year-olds.
Ionic facing off. Going to take some damage here from Lass, but there's actually only a 1 level difference between the two. Lass is swinging pretty hard there, but Ionic generally unfazed.
Well, this is what's interesting, right? With the Odin versus kind of Sylvanas matchup as well. We can actually see Ionic's going to hit the pole. Lass is going to take a lot of damage there. He's going to be able to jump out there. He's going to hold on. Divios, though, on the backside. The kitties are going to be there to kind of slow him down. Here comes the jump. Lass is he going to be able to make it out? Divios will dive. He does not care at all. The cats are going to slow him a little bit. He's trying to stay alive. The jukes around the tower. He's just running away. Divios misses again. Lass is with the big play, but in the back is Gars. He's going to jump away, just baiting the pounce again. He's going to go back.
Oh, he's got him.
And now here comes Zatman to finally come in here.
Oh,
But
Zap's in
Cog Red.
trouble. Look at the dash, landing him right in the path of flames. There's nowhere to go. That's going to be 2. Gars right now in the ultimate, making sure he's invincible. They're looking at Dare to Care, and they're trying to find him. Pull from the back out of it, but Divios finds the kill.
Ionic is just hitting every single pull. Throughout that entire time now, they have a bigger lead, but this is what Loki does on Dignitas.
So I want to talk a little bit about Zatman there. And while Zatman did get picked off, the play was amazing because he landed to try to stop Gars from getting the kill on the bounce back from Lassus' jukes. It was amazing. It didn't work out, but the actual idea behind it was brilliant, and that's the reason that Dig is sitting where they are.
Lassus did everything he could.
Oh, more than everything. That was nonsense. How was he not dead earlier?
He had his Sunday's best on, man.
It is Sunday, isn't it?
It is Championship Sunday.
You're the greatest.
I'm the worst. Well, so now Zapman's going to go ahead and head over to his respected lane as well as Snoopy, and they're just going to really farm up here. We probably will see Zapman kind of stay in his lane just a little bit longer now.
You know, Snoopy actually just procced into 14. Zapman, I'm sure, is very close to 12 right now. Will he get it off this wave? Oh, not letting Snoopy back. Trying to trade out some damage there. But, you know, it's been a couple months. Before the SPL, after the LAN, I talked to Snoopy. He's like, I just want to play Vulcan ADC every game. And everyone on the planet called this guy an idiot. Like, what are you doing? That's not an ADC. And, I mean, he started doing it more and more, started going into ranked with it. And you can see there's potential. He has great wave clear. He has great pressure. Late game, the damage is carry level damage. I mean, it's very good. The only thing that he can't do is push towers like Apollo can.
Yeah, and that's gonna hurt them just a little bit there, but not really because they do have the poke.
Shane just teleported to left side. I don't know what they're looking for, and now he's backing.
That's a waste. I think they maybe have thought the Gold Fury's coming up here, but Divio's actually going to be in the backside as well. Lass is going to be backing here. Divios is going to spot him up. I got to jump.
Well, I mean, that's an 8-second. Oh, he tried to go for the shot over the wall. Doesn't quite find it. I think Shing was maybe looking for a gank on Snoopy, but Snoopy I think maybe backed right as he saw the teleport, because there is a ward there that spotted the rotation.
Dignitas really needs a lot of defensive wards, DM.
Yeah.
I mean, Cogred has complete control of the jungles.
Well, I mean, this is the point of Osiris. I mean, he has a ton of physical mitigation. He built into more. He's got balance bait online, which means he's swinging even harder. Devios finds and picks up the red buff. Shing taking a lot of damage. Finds him with the tether. This is a beautiful counter pick. He's fighting too. He has so much mitigation.
Oh,
doesn't
my
quite hit the ultimate, though.
Yep, Shing just going to get chased down there. The slow's going to be on him. There's the ultimate, forces him out. Divios is bullying two people. He just 2v1 them.
Yeah, easily. I mean, that's the mitigation. That's the build. That's the character. Gold Fury's been started. Dare's trying to now escape from it. Ooh, so much damage. The jump is down, but oh, they reset. That was a big misplay. It was almost dead.
Yep, well, the Odin Ring's going to be there as well. Zapman taking to the skies. Oh, no, Zap, don't do this, buddy. He's going to spot Divios. He's going to be in a world of trouble, though. There's going to be the pitcher.
Low mana.
Oh, the Vulcan ult's going to be there as well. Nas going to be in the middle. He's in a lot of trouble as well. Cognitive Red doing such a good job focusing. Down goes Nas. Well, the last remaining hope is Shing. Shing, you better back with the quickness, bro.
Gars with the big triple kill. You don't want to get Kali big. He's level 16 right now. Gold per minute, 490, 60 ahead of anyone else. But the entire red team in gold per minute is on top of the charts. Dig right in the bottom for now.
I think if you were to write a horror movie of Smite and like professional Smite, it would be giving Gars Kali and a lot of kills.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a nightmare. That's like Michael Myers chasing you.
I'm sorry, does that say 10-0? Does he have 10 kills?
That's a thing.
On Kali. Full Witchblade right now picked up. He has so much attack speed, so much movement speed, and given the fact that he has beads online, destruction still up, there's no way you are escaping from that character. It's just not going to happen.
It's going to be very tough, and, you know, surprisingly enough, when you take a look at the player damage here, you're going to see Apollo and Loki all the way at the bottom, even below Odin.
But top actually goes to, Osiris. Devios consistently fighting two people and trading more damage out than he's taking in. This is a brilliant play. You know, you talk about, you know, crazy picks and things people aren't thinking of. Osiris is definitely on the top. You know, we're seeing like the Bakasura support and the Nasha support. I'm not on board. This is a brilliant pickup, and he's playing it perfectly.
Well, also, you know, the tether as well. His 3 ability is so good because it reduces healing and it reduces damage. So if you're going up against the Nuwa, you can kind of just tether him, and then the fire charge isn't going to do that much damage.
Yeah, you know, I kind of want to see someone bring out the Young Bay, the heavy hammer carry. I love it.
Yeah,
I would love to see.
You're a fan of that?
I would love to see Zapman pick up a heavy hammer in the beginning of next game, you know, win or lose out of this one, and just kill people. I mean, because that's what Zap does. I mean, he doesn't miss shots, and now when he doesn't miss a shot, they're going to be slowed, which means their escape is limited. Granted, it's going to slow down his normal farming, which is going to be, you know, Dev's gloves, a lot of damage, tower pushing, but I think it's just so cool.
Yeah, well, I think Kret's a little upset that his Unicorn build hasn't seen any real success here this weekend.
No, not last weekend. It saw a ton of its success. I mean, it won.
It did win last weekend, but I don't know. I think Zapman was kind of walking through it, and he was like, dude, my crits are just, I love them. And I was like,
I just hit you for 1,100.
Yeah, I was like, well, fair explanation, man. You love it. I'm with it.
Oh, bottom side, Tether's going to come out. Lass is trying to dive in as well. Shing just barely dodges the scythe, using some damage, but taking more. There comes Gar. Oh, out of there. Shing gone.
Yeah, good job there. And now Lass is going to throw out the cats as well. Divios is going to try to run away. Lass is going to try to get the bleed on him as well. In comes Dare to Care. Dare to Care is going to start the ring. Divios is going to be able to jump out of this relatively soon, though, so he just kind of really trapped himself.
And look at Ionic, actually able there, making sure he gets the heal. The Wisps go off. Zatman rotates. Vulcan nowhere to be found. We're going to see split push from him. This will be a 4v5 engagement, but there are some ultimates down.
Oh, Zatman in the front of the line. He's in a lot of trouble. Divios is going to go down. Garz is going to be able to take out one. Can he find a second? The Booch able to get two. Nas getting free damage, but it's on Sylvanas. You don't want that to be it. Odin in the back, down he goes. Booch is able to take out one. Can he find out?
Nah gets raw pulled again, coming out with the very sick shot, and I don't see him getting away from this one.
That was not good for Nah.
Look at Snoopy. Look at Snoopy. Tier 2, that's going to be 1,500 in the pocket as well. Hugely,
this is a Phoenix.
Hugely. That's 10,800 gold, and nobody's up for 10 more seconds.
This is going to be a Phoenix here. This was probably the most amazing thing of all time. And as you take a look at the minimap, oh, look at this. It's a Fire Giant as well. So you got Tier 1, Tier 2, and a Phoenix
almost. You know, he was
almost
there, but I think he starts to recognize that if he stuck around there, he was going to get blasted. But Fire Giant will be picked up.
Oh, wow, they're low.
Oh, maybe not.
They are low.
Garz is using Destruction to try to get himself through this. The lava's going to want...
Wow.
Ionic!
No!
Double kill for Fire Giant!
Fire Giant OP!
So 3 people get the Fire Giant. 19 minutes into the game, we have a 5-20 situation here. Phoenix is still stand. Dig absolutely still in this. The only issue is that Garz is level 19.
Yeah, and this is what I was getting ready to say. I don't think you and I have talked really too much about the charts here, but when you take a look at the charts, almost 20,000 experience difference separates these two teams and 10,000 gold.
So let's talk about Odin here. You know, a lot of people tell me Odin's great. You know, I love him. I think that Odin is a bottom 5 character. It's been since he got reworked. I do not like him. And with that, one thing that Odin does very well is the early game. But when you put Odin early game against the Sylvanas early game and they trade out and then go into the end game where they're both weaker, but Sylvanas at least has that huge knock-up, I just don't see what Dare to Care can do in this situation to bring himself back into it.
It's going to be tough, right? I think when you favor an Odin pick in that duo lane, it's kind of like, okay, we're going to continuously push no matter what.
Right.
But they went up against a Sylvanas and a Vulcan, which is basically, I don't think they were expecting a Vulcan ADC. I really don't.
I don't either. I personally thought it was going to Boosh.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
The Boosh's God pool is raw. I mean, who knows what he's going to bring out?
Oh, Boosh's God pool is Smite, right?
That's true.
We're going to see actually the grouping here coming up on the Gold Fury here. That's going to be Xing all the way in the far right lane. He does have teleport. It is online. He can go there if they choose so to fight, but I don't think they want that fight.
I'm not sure why they backed off there. Xing is actually starting to rotate down as well. Zatman going for the tier 1. He's trying to make a decision. The ward is starting to spot people. Snoopy walking right over it to go defend, but Zatman is backing off.
I think they're going to just try to go for this middle tower, question mark?
They got the Gold Fury. I mean, Ionic's tanking it with the Vulcan turret, and Boosh just kind of shooting stuff in the background. Dare to Care is nowhere to be found. This is a free 1,500.
Yeah, free 1,500 gold here.
Lead extended.
And they have the timer on this, and honestly, I think Dignitas isn't going to check it for a long time.
You know, I think they know that it went down, honestly. I think they realized, like, hey, you know, the gold just spiked up by 1,500. You can press T and see the big dip on the graph. And I'm sure Dignitas is recognizing this. The issue is that they couldn't really afford another 3,000 gold swing. They're 12-5 in the hole right now with 20,000 experience separating. I mean, Garz and Devios are top right now. Snoopy's 19. Boosh is only 18. And you look at the board, he's died 1 time.
And when you factor in 12-5 across 5 people, what is that, like 2,200 each? That's big. A full tier 3 item, man. That's a nightmare.
It's real big. Going deep here. Check out Gnaw. Trying to try to ult away. He'll do some damage here, but I don't know how much. He actually gets stunned. The tether actually persisted through the jump.
That's why it's big. Divios in a lot of trouble, though. Xing doing a lot of damage, but Divios says, yeah,
double
definitely.
Kill.
There's the ultimate. Last is going to go down as well. There's the triple. Can he find the quad? He's unable to do so, but he's still alive, and they are going to continue to chase Dare to Care. That is a deicide that might be GG. They're attacking the Phoenix, not realizing the tier 2's up. That's happens. It happens at the heat of the moment.
I'm surprised to see them not just go for the left tower, push right into the Phoenix. It looks like they're going to try to take this the longer route. They might have been able to end. Can't say that, you know, absolutely surely, but they're going to take the mid Phoenix for sure.
Yep, and you can see, I mean, it's 10 seconds until Lassus comes up. They are going to kind of go in on this.
No cats.
There is no cats as well, so this looks like Everything goes according to plan here. Cognitive Red is going to be taking this game number 1 in the best of 5 series.
Give it
Put
up,
your
guys.
hands together.
I did not expect that. Going into this, my prediction that first game was going to Dignitas, and I could not have been more wrong. 25-5, absolutely devastating. Gars was unstoppable.
Yeah, I was really, I was really expecting Dignitas to kind of come out a little bit stronger there. I think what happened was that's the field game, right? Now they know Vulcan's there. Now they know Sylvanas is a real threat. I think you're going to see priority kind of switch up. I might see Vulcan ban. I might see Sylvanas kind of get out of there. But the problem is Thor. Are they going to take that? Are they going to say, let's have Thor?
I don't know, man. I don't think they... If they get complacent and think, I would rather deal with a Thor than Kali, it's going to be GG. I mean, you cannot give Gars Thor. This is the #1 rule in competitive Smite. If he gets Thor, you lose the game.
Well, then how do you deal with Osiris?
But the same thing happened to Raffer, and Raffer lost.
True. Well, I believe we do have Rory with the replay. Rory, take it away.
Thanks, Scott. Going to that last game, that was a tough matchup, I think, for Dignitas. It started off very, very slow, and Cognitive Red really picked up momentum, but I want to bring it back to the end of that match and really what sealed the deal and put the last nail in the coffin there for that matchup. On the screen, you'll see here Divios rocking that Osiris, looking down that tier 2 tower there in the middle lane. You can see Nah kind of hanging out, but watch what Divios does here. He's going to run around, and he's just looking for space control at this point. Osiris very good at stacking up the slows, gets on top, forces Nah up in the air. He's going to switch targets for a second here and then come right back to Nah, dropping him down, but at this point, he's caused enough damage. Nah go down, Shing focus Divios, he's still alive, and you can see how tanky he is. And one thing we see a lot from tanks and guardians and warriors that if you're ever present in the front, forcing the enemy team to attack you, you could draw so much attention it ends up ending the game right then and there. And Divios did so successfully, seeing about 100 HP here on the screen, but definitely a very, very strong matchup for him. You can see the whole replay itself was magical, and this is what just led up to the end. I mean, solo lane really picking up a lot of gold and experience. Divios doing the best he can, but Shing falling down early is what closed it out for this entire matchup. Going to game number 2, I think Dignitas really needs to rally together and pick up speed and figure out what they can do to stop the early game for Cog Red. We're going to cut to a brief break. We'll be right back with game number 2.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tom F. Badger, joined here by 2 familiar faces. Why don't you guys just introduce yourselves real quick?
I am Allied from Complexity Gaming.
And we've also got...
I'm Omega from Cognitive Prime.
And these are the 2 teams that we're going to be seeing. Not right now. We've got Dignitas and Cog Red playing, but we'll be seeing these 2 guys at the bottom side of the bracket after this one. So I'm just going to ask you guys a couple of questions. You guys don't seem too happy to be standing up next to each other right now.
Yeah.
I don't care.
All right, so Allied, you play for Team Complexity. You guys have played against Cog Prime a couple of times during the regular season, back when you were called Snipe. When you go against this team, what's really the weak part of this team that you're really looking to exploit?
No, just hoping Annister does his usual lane performance of messing up, and yeah, just I don't know, take away Barracuda's only god.
All right, so Allied's looking for Landinster to show up and be weak as usual, and Omega, what's the weak part of Snipe or Complexity? Where are you looking for to really take them down?
I don't know. I think their dual lane is pretty weak. Their AD carry isn't very good. He can't play many hunters, and Incon, no.
So just Incon though?
Yeah, no.
So we've got the 2 weak points right there. Now where do you feel your team is one positive of your team over theirs? Why is Cog Prime better than Complexity?
Well, I am the best solo in the game, so going against Kiki is going to be pretty easy. So I think that's where our strong point is.
All right, same question for you, man. Why is Complexity a little bit better than Cog Prime?
Omega can only play Vamana, so I think we have the upper advantage in gods.
I'm going to disagree or agree with none of this stuff. You guys heard it here first. We've got Omega from Cog Prime and Allied from Complexity. You heard it. We're going to cut to a video, and you guys will check that out real quick.